Show Us Your Tips. Staggy and Beaver with you for a midweek racing preview. We've got Warwick Farm and Bendigo to look at here, Beaver. I'll be honest, two of the less inspiring meetings we've probably done, but hopefully a winner or two along the way. What have you made of all this?
Yeah, I think that's right, mate. Yes, not overly inspiring meetings. I found it quite difficult to line some of the form up here. But let's hope we've got a few winners in there, because I think you'll only need to find a few winners to have a pretty decent day.
For sure. Let's kick off at Warwick Farm. Currently rated a soft 7 as of Tuesday night, but good weather around. I think it starts slightly better than that. The rail moves to the true. Typical Warwick Farm. No tricks in the track. We kick off with the babies over the 1100 metres. And what do you like in the first, if anything, in a tricky contest?
Yeah, this is a pretty tricky contest here. I've settled on the blue colours in Fleetwood. Only had the one race start and started well in the market there, and ran wasn't the greatest run, but it was in fairly good company there behind Don Corleone, who we know has got a bit of ability. Put straight out after that, so obviously needed some time. It's had some time here now, and I think it can run well first up here at $6.
Yeah, it was one of the ones I ended up. I think the market's about right here, and it was one of the ones I gave a chance. This I thought Overview was interesting. Expensive yearling, sent up to Queensland straight away. It was a nice style of yearling, actually. Sent up to Queensland, had the trial up there, has come back, trialled well here. J Max on, I think runs well. But there's lots to this race. You can make a great case for Fleetwood, as you have. Look, No More Lies looks talented, and Joey Dior looks nippy as well. There's more after that, so tricky way to start. I think you get around to $6 for the two we've mentioned. Might be the comfy way to start the day. Second is a benchmark 68, where I'm not sure it gets much easier, to be honest. I'm going to go with the... I'm going to have a spec on Resistible here. Quick backup from last week, gets an on-pace roll, may even lead this field up on the quick backup from last week, as I said. And I'm just not sure where the chasers are. A lot of this is bush form. A lot of this doesn't look to have much guts to it. So going to play that way from Celestial Spread will be the other one up on pace. But, another ick race here. What are you thinking?
No, I'm pretty keen on the favourite here, Grabini. I thought caught the eye first up, finishing on quite nicely. Look, it'll be looking for further ground, and it gets it here, stepping up from the 1300 to 1600. And if you go back last preparation, over some of the longer distances, was well fancied in the market and ran quite nicely in those races. Hit the line hard last start. This looks well suited here, and I think it can run a real bold race.
Cool. Third up, again, a tricky one with another 64, 1100 metres. And I'm confident in the fact one of these is going to jump out of the ground, because I think there's some lightly raced talented horses here. I'm not confident in pointing out which one that might be. For the record, I'm going to have Wonder Reach on top. I've liked everything it's done this prep to date. Comes to town, nice mover of a nice win. Drawn now to get to that running line and run well. But I'm scared of a few here. Waikiki actually has a Metro form run well. Kunes, big win, but might be a wet tracker. And La Rope's put in a fantastic trial, but has an apprentice. So with a race with a few question marks, I'm going to play the one around the double figures there in Wonder Reach. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I agree with you here. There's a few question marks here, but some of these have ran nicely in recent times.
Yeah.
I've gone for one similar to you. I've gone for Mount Warning. Looked pretty good when it won first up, albeit a maiden at Gosford, but was well backed. It was long odds on and there, and it's franked the price. And I think even going back to last preparation, showed a bit of ability. I think he can run really well.
It wouldn't talk you out of anyone there. 1300 metre benchmark 72 comes up next, and this is for the 5-year-olds and up, which seems to be a regular feature of these programs now. Again, no real confidence, but I'm going to spec the import here. Imrahor, first up, second prep in Australia, comes to, as I said, a 5-year-old and up race, and the second trial was quite good, jumped straight into pace and travelled around pretty well. think it may have some more upside than a lot of these. What do you reckon? Do I need to get the alarm ready?
I'm going for my. Yeah, you get the alarm ready. I'm going to go for Masara in this. Gets the services of McDonald here, and runs this time in haven't been all that bad. Slightly disappointing last start, but wasn't that far behind Strombus. Had to do a bit of work outside the lead there. Hopefully, get a bit cozier run here, and I think you can run well.
We've
Number
got
5, Ceasefire.
cool. We've got the mile benchmark 72 up next. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, another tricky race here. I'm going for the import here because I don't think it'll have to be overly good to beat most of these. And that's the top weight in Dillian. Some of its form in Group 1 and listed company in the Great Britain has been has had a little bit of merit about it. Trialled pretty well, I thought, at the farm. So it's been around this track. 1600 suits first up, and I think it can run a bold race.
Nice. I'm going to go with a couple here. Firstly, my best result will be Highballer. Gets control. There's not a lot of pace up front here. It's going to roll across back from Hawkesbury, which I'm just forget everything that happens at Hawkesbury, back to the mile here with control. I think suits and is a nice play at around the $10 mark. And sort of the same again for Sprout Wings, a double figure price. Back to the scene of the first up win. Went to Canterbury. That was a non-event, but a strong enough race. We've seen form come out of that. Comes here and gets a running line. We'll have a nice finish in this one. Scared of Dillian as you've covered off. Benchmark 72 again at 1400 metres is up next, and easy bet for me to have here. And that's Air to Air. Brilliant first up winner, then went to the bog at Rose Hill. Just forget about that. Was pulled up in that race, didn't handle it at all. Comes here, draws 6, gets Nash, and you get an each way price on top for me. And the only horse I really want to talk about, I suppose Silent Raindrops is going okay this prep. What do you made of this one?
Yeah, I've gone for Silent Raindrops. Think it is going not too bad this prep, and I thought its last start, second behind Plundering, was pretty good. Chased all the way to the line, and Plundering, I think, has got a little bit of talent, and it kept fighting really hard. Most horses, I think, this would have went past. Plundering fought on well. I think this is similar grade here. 56 is okay and can run a good race.
And we're going to wrap up with the race of the day, 1100 metre benchmark 72. And I think there's some form to come out of this. But who's going to win it, more importantly?
Yeah, look, I got down to the top two here in Vavia and Growl. I've settled on Growl just in head of Vavia, just purely on the barrier draw. I liked its last win that it only had in that preparation at Moonee Valley against Ciccone. Thought that was really good. Trials have been good enough to suggest it's forward enough and lightly raced them and a couple of wins. So Snowden, I'm hoping, got it tuned up. But Vavia was very good last start as well. It chased all the way to the line, didn't get a real big clear crack at them the whole time. And I think, I'd be saving on it. I think you can play both.
I am. I've got Growl on top. I agree. Everything you said. The only question mark is the longish spell, but it's been sent up to Sydney. Trials looked pretty good, so I'm maybe not too worried about that because it looked like it was doing some pretty good work there. And it was a horse I think we had an opinion of back when it went to the races last time out. So good kicking off point for it. You've mentioned Varvia as well. Probably should have won last start or gone close. And one outside the market that I think is a talented horse is Tokuma. We get to see La Rope earlier in the day, but nice first up win, lightly race, and around the 20s is worth thought. For progretracing.com.au, you got a best in value for Warwick Farm.
Yeah, my best bet is race 2, number 3, Grabini. And my value was a little bit tricky because I've got, as you would have noticed, I've tipped a lot of things around the $6 to $8 mark. I will go race 7, number 10, Growl, as my value bet, about $7.58.
It's the day for it, I think. It's you want to be trying to get an each way price all day here at Warwick Farm. But I'm going to make my best race 8, number 1, Air to Air. And my value, let's go race 5, number 2, Highballer. But I agree, Growl is still a nice price. Next best
You meant race
value.
6, number 1, Air to Air, right?
Sorry, race 6. Yeah, race 8's the last, isn't it? Race 6.
No, there is no race 8.
What am I doing here? Race 6, number 1 Ed Air. Race 5, number 2 Eyeballer. Yeah, do that. All right, let's go to Bendigo where there is 8 races. Again, the rail is true. Again, we should get a good track. Nice big long straight. They should mostly get their chance, all things being equal. And again, we're getting a card with that I'm not overly enthused with, either.
Yeah, it's a bit the same as, I think it's kind of lines up similar to the Warwick Farm card, to be honest. And yeah, a fair few horses around those mid-price that if you can find a couple, it'll be a good day.
Kick off again with the babies, again over 1,100 metres. And again, I'm going to go with the Sydney stable in the Waterhouse team, Marching, who trialled up well last prep, went up and copped the bog on debut at the Gold Coast, has come down here, has trialled well again, gets Damien Oliver, should roll forward and should run well. From Got Yourself a Gun, who has trialled up well as well, looks to have a nice turn of foot. Mickey D's on and an inside gate. Both look good, but, for all these on debut, we're going to know more afterwards. We'll see how this form comes out of the race. What have you done here?
Yeah, look, I think you're right there. I've gone for number 8, the Shaper, from the Freedman stable. It's been sort of having these horses pop up of recent times, and this trial was quite good as well, so got it on top. But a bit of speculation here with this mainly unraced lot.
1,100 metres again for a 64. Anything here?
Yeah, good little race this. 3 or 4 of the market that I think can all run well and give you a sight. But I've stuck with Ben Coolin. Thought it was a chance. I think it was scratched on the weekend, maybe. Or,
it was either in on the weekend or last Wednesday.
Yes, and so I think obviously looks to be saved for this, and I think it can run well from the Price Kent stable. Got it on top.
Same. Yep, has put 2 nice trials together in readiness for this. I think it'll win. I got the Danger as the top weight. Straight Load, who's come back. Both runs this time in have been good. And we'll see a couple of the lightly raced ones we'll keep an eye on. But, in accordance with you there. Race 3 is a maiden over 1,400 metres. I hope you got something here because everywhere I look just raised more questions for me. I can't help you here. Has anything caught your eye?
I didn't have a lot either, but I did go for Torresino on top here from the Peruska stable. Showed enough first up to suggest it can run a good race here, so it was the one I came with on top.
Race 4, 2,400 metre maiden, generally is what I ignore, but I've actually found one I like here, and that's number 4, Keeves. I like the fact it's had the 2,400 metre run, so it's been out the distance. I didn't waste any time getting it out there. I like the fact it rolled along on pace there and will take up a spot here, and I like the fact that I don't think anything else is going to run it down. So around the $3 mark, I think this is a good bet, and fairly happy to take it, actually. What are you thinking?
No, I'll go head to head with you here. I'm going the other one in the market, Glenn's Top Cat from the Kumani stable. I think it can run really well here as well. Forgive 2 starts back, go on the 3rd last start. Thought that was pretty good over the 2,000. I think it'll keep chasing to the line and give us up.
Cool. The 5th is a 2,200 metre benchmark 78. Weird they'd go to the effort of moving the barriers, but anyway, we've got a 5-horse field. Does this feel like a trap race to you?
Looks like it could be a trap race, but I'm not convinced it is. I'm going to go for the favourite, Captain Envious. I think, again, this is stepping back from listed Group 3 company. Where it's done most of its racing into this benchmark 70, gets the 3 kilo claim, has had the 2,500 metres race, rock hard fit after these 3 starts. It can run its best race this prep.
I'm going to go for the outsider here. I'm going to go for That's Incredible. I'm not convinced there's any form in this race. It was running in some good stuff behind Boise and some of those stronger midweek staying races last month. Has gone away and had a couple of hurdle trials, freshened up for this inside gate. And as I said, is the outsider. Might have a spec on that because I couldn't convince myself to bring. I wanted to find Captain Envious, but maybe I'm overthinking. But just thought there might be a few too many cracks there as well. The 6 1,100 metre benchmark 64 And I've gone looking down the bottom of the weights here to the filly in Tapo. Resumed with a nice enough win at Echuca. Should jump straight to the front, and it was a bit better price now. There's a bit of money for it here. In an average 64, I think this can give you a nice sight out in front. Perhaps the main danger is Everglade, who did some nice Metro stuff last time, but perhaps needs to refine that form. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought Tapo looked very hard to beat, but I've actually gone for Cardenabia
Yep.
with Oliver aboard. Hopefully, the first up win, they may have found the key to this, and that was an impressive first up win. Two disappointing runs when last time in work, but against decent company. Just hoping that the penny might have dropped, and I think it can run a bold race here about $10. Tapo, the main danger.
I like that you found that because I think it was a horse we had an opinion of last prep, and it just
Yeah,
never quite got there. And now it's broken through. The girl off the win can perhaps do it again. We've got a 1500 metre 64 up next inning here.
Keen on the 5 from the Freedman stable, Punch Lane here. Only had the 2 starts. First one was credible at Geelong, not far off them, and then come out and won a really nice race when favourite at Seymour to break its maiden status. Put them away fairly comfortably there. Since has had a nice little trial, I think it can run well here. Gate 9's no problem, hard to beat.
I'm going to go with the other one that won and resuming. That's Lafilio, who I think will lead this field up. Came back with a nice win after being there or thereabouts. Hayes Boy's going okay, crosses this and should take it up. I think one of those 2 lightly raced ones wins. They're the 2, they're the sort of horses I generally like to find, but I'm going to go with that. You've made the case for Punch Lane, so we'll move on. Finish up with a benchmark 70, 1300 metre race, and this is similar to the finish in Sydney, probably the race of the day. Very interesting race to get our teeth into to wrap it up. I'm going to cover a couple here and give them chances. The first is Gonna, which comes through a reasonably strong mares race last time out. We've already seen form come out of that one. And then I'm going to also back the Adelaide Visitor Turf Decision. Its last 4 runs have all been pretty impressive. Come to the right sort of race here, gets a outside gate to swoop down the centre here, and I can see since I've done the form, there's been some money for it. Still around $6. If I can, I may also cover Bluestone Lane back up in trip. Should suit it in its 20s. So 3 in a tricky race. I'll try and play my book around that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I come up with two to play here. The first one's The Art of Flying from the Mar Eustace stable. 2 runs back, ran a nice little race at Warwick Farm over the 1100, then come down to Sandown and wasn't disgraced, not far off Blood Oath. When it started favourite. I think it can run a really good race here. I had it on top, main danger, Turf Decision. For all the reasons you suggested, it can run a good race.
Ebony King came out of that Sandown race and won since, I think, as well. So a bit of form there. Actually, in the Reynoso form reads well, the more I think about this. But we've thrown out enough options there. Tricky day at Bendigo. Have you got any best and value bets here?
Yeah, my best is race 5, number 1, Captain Envious. And my value bet comes up in race 6, number 12, Cardenabia.
I'm going to make my best the Staying Maid in race 4, number 4, Keeves. And my value, I like the couple in the last. Race 8, number 8, Turf Decision. I think one of the ones we mentioned will win there, and you can cover most of them. Anything happening in Queensland? What have we got, Ipswich?
Yeah, got a few up at Ipswich for us. First one comes up in race 1, number 6, Not So Common. The Waterhouse Bot trained horse there. I think it can run a nice race at its first race start. Wanted a bit of odds in the 4th race. Number 8, Cadeas from the O'Day Hoisted stable, about $8. Get on it each way. I think it'll run a real good race. A resumer in race 6, number 9, Rich Lister, about $5, presenting good value. And then we're going to finish off in the last with race 8, number 3, Miss Hipster, resuming from a spell.
Miss Hipster, jumped off the page when I had a flick through earlier. This would be the weakest race it's probably ever been in, to be honest. It's a nice price. Couple at Belmont, actually, over in the west, just for something to do. Race 2, number 4, Arcadia Star, and race 9 at number 4, Life of Brian. We'll throw in something there. Thank you, Beaver. We'll chat. What have we got? Doom and Cup to talk about this week, so we'll catch up Friday, find the winners for Saturday. Until then, punters, good luck this Wednesday, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.